Welcome back, everyone. Mike McConville here again, Stratford, Ontario, Canada for StringTech Workstations. So we've got Shane's Epiphone Masterbuilt. We have ascertained that that saddle is not going to work. There just isn't enough real estate or thickness in that saddle to be able to line up the intonation. So, saddle's got to be changed, so let's get started. Obviously, the first step is to get that original saddle out. These are new strings, so I just put those on, so we're going to hang on to those. So far, I'm sure we'll put another set on before this whole job is completed. Now, one thing I have noticed about these guitars, I've worked on a few of this exact model. I like this design. The saddle is actually canted on a bit of an angle. The actual slot is cut on a little bit of an angle. And I think it's a good idea because it means that the string energy is less prone to want to push the saddle over and crack the bridge. When it's on a slant like this, as the string comes up out of the hole, it's really pushing down instead of wanting to tip the saddle. Anyway, good idea. Obviously the blank is going to have to be cut with that in mind. So let's start. First step with the replacement cantilevered compensated saddle blank. So the first step is to cut it so it is just a little bit longer than we need. Do that. By the way, I do have my bandsaw on an air-driven foot switch as well, so we'll make that first cut. So our next step, of course, is to thin out the leg so it fits into that slot. Looks like we've got 115 and 116, so 116 thou. Okay, so 116 is what we're after. We've got 155, so we've got a ways to go here. So that's 131, 137, so still got a ways to go. 116 is what we're after. $125, $125. So you take it down 9 thou. 118.5, 116.5. Let's go check that against the guitar. So we're just basically determining that this will indeed drop into that slot, and it will. So now we're going to cut it to length and round off the ends. This really gives you a good idea how far back that saddle does lean. Now obviously it's way too high, so the next two steps are we're going to reduce the height of the leg. But before I do that, I'm going to radius the underside of the ledge. Okay, so that's what we got at this stage. Now we're going to cut that leg way down until that overhang almost kisses the rosewood. We're going to go with that, and now we're going to radius the crown of the saddle. I'm walking you through this next step so that you can kind of see where my thought processes are going. This is the original saddle. All of the notes were way flat. There's no way you'd be able to intonate that guitar with that saddle. But what I've done here is I've actually traced the position all the way across where the focal point was on that original saddle, right? Your B was back here. The high E was right to the very edge of the original slot or the original saddle. This one was also right at the edge. I've actually drawn it a little bit beyond the edge. The low E was towards the back edge, and it was 2 cents sharp. It actually needed to come back a little bit. All the other 5 strings all needed to move forward. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to leave these 2 saddles on here. So this map kind of shows you where we were with that original saddle. The low E was 2 cents sharp, so we're going to move that back, the only one that we're going to move back, towards the back edge. The A was 6 cents flat, so we're going to move that forward. The D was 12 cents flat, so we're going to move that, both the D and the G, pretty well right to the edge. And then we'll adjust them later as need be. The B was 8 cents flat, so we're going to move that forward quite a bit. And the high E was 5 cents flat, and it was right to the very edge of the saddle, so we're going to move that one a little forward. Okay, back to the radius disc sander. 2 things we're doing here. We're going to cut that radius at the leading edge, and I'm going to soften and roll back the back edge of that saddle. Turn the dust collector on. And that's what we've got now. So everything else is going to be done by hand. The values that I have scribed in with the pen, with the blue ink, indicate where we are now on this first run through with this cantilevered compensated bridge saddle. That's where we were. We were 2 cents sharp. Well, now we're 8 cents sharp. But you have to remember, this step is very important, and there is a reason I'm doing this step by step the way I'm doing it. I've left more real estate on that crown than I need. This string is 8 cents sharp for 2 reasons. One is the action is raised considerably because this saddle is quite a bit higher. We're just getting started. I want to make sure we've got lots of material to work with. But we do have to bring it back, and we haven't done that yet. So now I am actually going to mark on the back of that saddle how far back I want to take that. So now we're moving to the A string. It's 13 cents sharp. So it was 6 cents flat. Now it's 13 cents sharp. Once again, it's much higher than it's going to be, so I'm stretching the string when I bring it in contact with the fret. As I move back, and this is the reason I slope the saddle at this point, because as I move that back, that's 13 cents sharp, the string will drop. So the sharpness is going to be reduced for 2 reasons, the string being lowered and the string being lengthened by bringing it back. D string, similar story. It was 12 cents flat, but it's only 3 cents sharp now, so I'm going to bring that back just a little bit because, again, we're going to be dropping the string down as we bring it back. So we'll really decrease all of this sharpening drastically this next time through. The G string was 12 cents flat. It's now 4 cents sharp, which is not that much. So I'm just going to bring that back a little bit too. Is 10 cents sharp, and it was 8 cents flat. So it obviously has to come back quite a bit because I've sloped the back of that saddle. As I bring the focal point back, the string drops down, so we take care of that extra sharpness, 10 cents sharp. And lastly, the first string, which was 5 cents flat, is now 4 cents sharp. So again, we're going to bring that back just a little bit further. Back to the drill press radius sander. And here's our next round through. So the low E, which initially was 2 cents sharp, first time through when we made the cantilevered saddle it was 8. Now it's perfectly in tune. We've nudged that back and dropped the string down. The A is still 5 cents sharp, the D is 2 cents sharp, the G is also 2 cents sharp, the B is 5 cents sharp, and the high E is 2 cents flat. So at this stage what I'll do is leave all the strings tuned to concert pitch. I'm going to loosen off this one string, the A string, and I'm going to scrape that with a razor blade to bring this into focus. So first thing I'm doing is just kind of rubbing across that crown to know where the focal point is right now. We need to chase that back 5 cents. It's 5 cents sharp. Let's try that. Still a little sharp, and it's high enough it can come down a little bit too, not a problem. So I'm just gonna scribe that again, just kind of see how much we've come back, and let's tune that up again and check it. Ooh, that's just a hair sharp. Scratch that a couple of times and I know we're going to be on to the next string after this. Here we go. One more time. That's it. Okay, D string. Check that again. That is just barely sharp. A couple of cents sharp. So again, just to give you a visual, I'm going to scribe that again. Okay, so that's where we are right now. That's where the focal point is. And we want to move that back about 2 cents. Sure that's going to do it. That's it. On to the G. Scribe that one so we have a reference point. And that one is coming back. It's just coming back 2 cents as well. A couple of scrapes should do it. Check it out. Perfect. On to the B. Again, we'll scribe for a point of reference. Yeah, that needed to come back 5 cents. And we still have lots of height, so as we scrape, as I mentioned earlier, as we scrape, we move it back and the string drops down. On this side, we've got plenty of height, so that's not an issue. I'm going to squeeze 5 cents out of that. Let's see what that gives us. That's it. We're down to the last string. So this one was registering 2 flat. So we've got to scrape it this way to bring it forward. So we're also bringing it down and bringing it forward. So see if we can squeeze that 2 cents. Try that. That's it, we're done. Okay, so the saddle is now intonated, 7th fret and its corresponding octave, all 6 strings all the way across. Now we go to the compensated nut. Oh boy, this isn't a real good lesson for you because I nailed this one right out of the gate. The high E string is 2 cents sharp. The rest of them are right on the money. Let me bring you in for an overhead view. So that is the elliptical cut you saw me make on the sander. And you know, honest to God, this has never happened before where I've gotten it right out of the gate that close. I've just got to touch up that high E string. I'm ready now to trim off the edges, smooth it out, and those slots are way too deep anyway, so this needs to be sanded down. Back to the radius sander. Okay, so we finally get to hear this thing. Let me just start with all the regular garden variety chords along the neck, so you can hear how in tune it is. That was G, or C, major, triad. Here's F. E, major, major 7. Here's A minor 9 or C major 7. Octave higher. E minor. I recorded a quick loop, which is kind of a, I guess it's kind of a D minor thing. It starts with a D minor 9, then it goes to C6, actually 6, 9. I got an A in there, there's my A, there's my E, so it's, yeah, C6, 9. So diminished 7th, another diminished 7th, to A, 7 sharp 5, to A7. So the whole progression is so I've looped that. I'm just going to let that play, and then I'll just sort of blow some intervals and single lines and stuff over top. Here we go. Oh, that's too slow. I'll re-record that.